Hello you buggers, DKG casually sitting astride his table saw here. Before anyone says it's not plugged in, so my bum's safe from this anyway. Okay, so what I'm going to do today, or part of today, I don't know how far we're going to get because there's gluing time involved, so we might have to come back tomorrow. But what I'm going to do is I would like a 12-inch radius sanding block or other. Maybe 9, maybe 10, maybe 11, maybe 14, maybe 72 inch, I don't know. But I'm going to do it using the table saw. Now there are lots of people who have shown videos about radiusing their sanding blocks. Most of those are using routers and things like that. For the sake of it, I'm going to use the table saw, and I will build a jig to do that. Now, how's that going to work? Well, basically, what I'm going to do is build a sled that can be clamped to the table that will spin on an axis down there somewhere, and down the other side as well. So it's axis is both ways, and you'll be able to rock it and slide a block over the top of it. And because the circular saw is 1 foot or 6 inches in diameter, it's smaller than the radius blocks we're going to make. You just chip away at it in the same way as you'd use a router. The difference is we are going to go across the blade. Now we can do that. I've done it before in another video where I made basically a 6-inch radius sanding block. Basically, just use the saw blade to make a rounded sanding block. That was for sanding down some pickup covers. This time I'm going to build a jig to actually rock it, so we can make any radius sanding block that we want. Now, it seems like quite a lot of hard work. You can buy them, but you know they're quite expensive. Yeah, of course you're getting what you're paying for. You get an aluminium one for about £50 or something like that, and they're really nice. Obviously, these should cost just about next to nothing. Now the material I'm going to be using is my good friend and yours, chipboard. Literally just pulled from a dumpster, or a skip as we call them in the UK. This is all I need to build the jig. The block itself, now most sanding blocks are around about 70mm wide, 3.5 centimeters high. Well, let me just stretch my mic over here. So I'm just going to use this. It's just planed pine. It's 34mm by 70mm by 2.4 meters. Obviously, I'm not going to make a sanding block that's 2.4 meters long. That would be stupid. Okay. Now, a lot of you would say, "Well, you should be using probably a better material than pine," and you're probably right. But it's going to be, I think it will be good enough, more than good enough. And I'm also going to treat the wood once it's done, so it'll be nicely sealed. So what I'll be able to do is just fix sandpaper to it. Excuse the planes. Be able to fix sandpaper to it, and if you take it off, it's not going to pull wood fibres out and make a mess. You'll be able to clean it up with some alcohol, clean any sticky stuff off. If you're using double-sided or like a spray adhesive, so you can just apply some new sandpaper. Now, okay, we're going to talk about sandpaper. Probably the most exciting subject in this video to this date, at this moment in time. Exciting stuff. Now, sanding blocks, they come in like different sizes, obviously radiuses, but they'll come in like a 12-inch long or a 6-inch long. Now, 12 inches is fine. it's a nice size to use. Yeah, and you can buy sandpaper like this on a roll, which will, you cut it to length. Now in reality, in the real world, for us mere mortals who buy stuff from the local DIY store, sandpaper is generally this size. That's not 12 inches long. I don't know how long it is. It's well, it's more like 10. It's more like photograph size, 10 by 8 sort of size. So I think this is probably a good length to make sanding blocks. Obviously, you can make shorter ones, not a problem. But if you made one that was 12 inches long, you're gonna have a bit missing, and it's gonna be, So we'll just make them this long. Just suits the sandpaper that you can get. If you can get hold of this stuff, fine. I've got some of this at 80 grit, I think 120 grit. I think you can probably get finer ones, but obviously if you're using sandpaper this size, you can just about get any grit you want, and you can take it down to a polish kind of grit if you so want. Now I'm not just going to plough into it nilly-willy, or willy-nilly, or nilly-willy, or willy-nilly. Now what I did do is I got on my lovely computer and I drew up an idea what's going to go on here. Let me just gently hold it together and see if I can hold it up to the camera. I will put a link to this as a PDF if you can print it, so you can print it out. Now it's in 2 sheets of A4. If you've got a A3 printer, well, good for you. Most people don't. Most of us just have A4 printers. And if you've got an A3 printer, you're probably more than well enough to go and buy your own flipping sanding blocks. You won't be making them. It's too much like hard work. So I've made this. Now the way I've done it, let's try and hold this up. I might just put a screen grab up here to show you. But the way I've done it, I've drawn a 12-inch radius, which is 2 foot diameter. Remember, a radius is half diameter. People are getting this wrong. Some people are going, oh yeah, I've got a 12-inch radius circular saw blade. I can just cut a 12-inch radius. No, it's a 12-inch diameter. That's a 6-inch radius. So make sure you get that right. Get that through your head. Radius is half of the diameter. So yeah, I've got a 2 foot diameter, or a 12-inch radius curve there, and I've basically drawn in where a 70 millimeter block goes in with like about 5 mil gap either side before it actually cuts in. I've positioned my 12-inch blade and basically just checked that arc to see, when it's spinning on the 12-inch axis down here, that I'm going to get enough room on the circular saw to get the full arc, because it would be a real bummer if you build the thing and it just goes dunk and you can only get half of it cut. So I thought ahead. We'll see just how well it works. Now this board, yep, just check that. This board that I've got from the dumpster is pretty much a standard 18 millimeter sized chipboard, and it's not just pure chipboard. It's covered as well, so that's going to make a nice smooth gliding surface for us to put the block on. And as you'll see, we build the sled, and the block can slide backwards and forwards through that channel, and we can that will be attached to put a chipboard down here that will have these markings on it with all the different holes, and that will marry up to another piece, or another 2 pieces either side of the circular saw, with the same markings on them, that will be clamped to the saw down the centre line, so we can just like slide backwards and forwards. I think I've told you that. Were you listening? I told you we were going to just be sliding it backwards and forwards. That's how it's going to work. If you're not going to listen in class, I'm just not going to bloody bother, okay? Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is decrap all the gubbins off the chipboard. Now, I want the sliding bed to be nice and smooth, but there'll be certain guides and things that it doesn't matter if there's holes and things all over it, as long as there's holes for the axes in the right place. I can even cut this out and glue it on, so it's always going to be there. But yeah, so first job, let's take all the gubbins off. Shall I film that? Do you really want to see me dismantling bits? I really don't think so. So I'm just going to pause. Pause for thought.